Hello, this is a really small screencast of how to remove some purple fringing on pictures. I'll show several tricks. I'm doing this not on my picture but on somebody's picture from a Facebook group. It's a very nice picture. It was made with a 70 to 200 on a crop sensor, I think, and it's amazing detail for such a short lens. So here is the problem. So if I zoom in, whoops, and my Lightroom, if I zoom in and I shift about a bit, you'll see that there's color fringing over here. So there's several ways to remove it in FaceTime. I'll show several tricks. So the most obvious one, if you go to Profile and you do Remove Chromatic Aberration, you'll see that it already tries to do it. It's not perfect, so one way of making it better is go to Manual, and there's actually a color picker here. And you can sort of select the color that you want to remove, and you can see that it's almost perfect. And you can also sort of set the amount here of how precisely it will pick it up with some of these sliders. So that's one way of doing it. Now, in this case, there are other ways we could approach the problem. So I will go back to the original import. There it is again. So there we have the color fringing again. Now, in this case, it would not be weird to me, let me zoom out to show what I mean, is to just make the picture black and white. And now this might be a silly solution, but you can see the rest of the picture hardly changes, but the color fringing of course is gone because we went to black and white. A different version of the same trick would be, and it might not be a bad way of doing it, is to actually create sort of a border around here. So if you press O and we go with the brush tool, again I'm in Lightroom, so we don't even have to open a Photoshop, but I can sort of go around the picture a bit. I'm doing this for two reasons, because we might be able to do something else. Of course, if I would have more time, I do it a tiny bit more precise. Although the fun part about this is we don't even have to be that precise. Because if I do now O again, you'll see that it becomes unselected. But now I can take create an effect only on that part. And now again, if I take the saturation to 0, of course it goes to black and white. You see, but only for the border. Right? If I make it really strong, you'll see it go more and less. So the reason why I did it like this, because I think it might also help this picture a tiny bit if we take some of the highlights down only on that border. Right? So you can see that the borders become a little bit more soft. And we could even play in this case with things like the clarity. So if I make it really sharp or less sharp, we might make the borders a little bit more soft, right? So if I zoom in a bit, again, oops, sorry, and show you what's happening there. If I make them really hard or really soft, you can see maybe we can blur it out a bit more, which might help the picture. Now let me press done. Now the last thing which I think, while we are in this picture anyway, is that you notice that the histogram is quite low. That means that we don't have a white point, which is not weird in this case because we're watching a moon, but it does mean if you're working in the raw, most likely you have a lot of leeway to sort of play around with the white point. So if we go to this slider, you can see I can pull it up quite a lot and create more contrast, even more contrast in this picture. Now, not sure if it works on this picture and what else you need to change, but you can see that might be a handy sort of trick. So the last thing I want to show you is in this case there might be still quite a lot of stars hidden here, which you don't see because it's been exposed for the moon. So if you go to the round circle brush, you can sort of define a round circle like this. And again, if you hit O, you can see where your brush takes effect. Of course, we don't want to have it an effect in the moon itself. So first you can invert it, so you can see that's how you get to this, do everything except the circle. And you can also take their feathering down, so you can have the effect only happen on the outside of the moon. Again, O to turn off the mask. or the visual mask. But now we can pull up the exposure, and the reason why I'm saying this, because there might be in the raw file a lot of stars hidden in the background. So if I now pull up the exposure, again, it's not going to happen on the moon because I excluded that, but if I pull up the exposure, you can already see dots coming in. Now, of course, given that this was a JPEG, we can't recover them, but there might be some interesting stars sort of hidden in the picture that you can recover. So let me press done. I won't do any more on this picture because well, I'm not sure if it gets better or worse, but also since I want to keep this video short. But hopefully this will help you or somebody from the Facebook group on how to use Lightroom to do some of these things. Again, you can also do them in Photoshop, but for a lot of things you don't actually need it. I would argue myself I'm using maybe 10 tricks in Lightroom, 5 tricks in Photoshop, mostly the stamp tool and some of the fill tools, which are really nice to do remove people and stuff like that. But you can do quite a lot already in Lightroom. So hopefully it will be helpful. I will upload it to YouTube, and if you don't like it, I will delete it again. So thank you for watching, and talk to you next time. Bye bye.